Anthony Hartwig, Ty Bartell with another very fun, very exclusive coaches corner and basketball preview. We're going to be talking to the Jefferson girls basketball coach, TJ Furman. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Absolutely. Really appreciate you having me on here.
Coach, as we like to start off with all of our teams, we like to start off with sort of a meet the team segment. And I think there's a lot of excitement swirling around this Jefferson girls basketball team, mostly because of what we presume you're bringing back. So highlight some of those big names that you think are going to be in the rotation this year, as well as some new names that you think might get some playing minutes.
Yeah, we have quite a bit coming back. I have three starters coming back from last year, two seniors with Taylor Skinner and Monica Devine, and also Darby Skeeta. And then I also have uh, Taylor's sister, Tyra, who's also going to start. And right now, looking in for another senior to start, uh, Trinity Alexander.
You look at, I want to single out Taylor Skinner really quick because I think if you ask a lot of the coaches in the NE8, we've talked to a lot of them, she's going to be one of those names that they expect to be something to really be heard from in the NE8 this year with so much talent graduating from last year. Talk about what you expect from her this season, how she's grown over the years, and what's going to be asked of her now that she's a senior.
She has a lot of varsity experience. She's been starting for me since she was a sophomore. Really took it to the next level last year by developing a lot of her skills. And she needs to be the leader of our team, both defensively and offensively. I mean, she really does a great job defensively and getting into the schemes and blocking a lot of shots. Also, rebounding. It's very crucial that her and Monica both just step up their game and are able to get a lot of the rebounds. Um, I do expect us to compete this year. Uh, I think we've been the last 2 years in the middle of the pack. I would hope that, my goal has always been able to compete at the top level. So we'll see.
Coach, I think you know well too, and we got a preview of it too when I was in that booth up in Jefferson, seeing that crowd and seeing how much it meant to be there at some capacity this year. How much do you think it's going to mean for this girls' basketball team now to have that gym opened up a little bit and have those crowds there to support them?
Honestly, I think it's going to be awesome. I mean, we missed that last year by just being able to let the other students come in and cheer on our girls. And I think that brings in, a huge advantage when you can pack the gyms with, your home crowd. And I think it definitely will be a boost. I know football this year was awesome. Our Jefferson volleyball girls also had a great year, and the gym was packed. So I'm looking forward to the same thing.
Coach, when you look at the NE8, we've talked about the teams you'll be playing in the NE8 schedule. What about your non-conference schedule? What are some of the teams that'll pop up, and how prepared do you think that non-conference schedule will get you for the end of the season in tournaments?
Um, our non-conference games are mostly local schools. We play a lot of the Ashtabula County schools. We have a lot of local rivals. Uh, we play Edgewood, Lakeside, Conneaut, PV, which is who we're going to open up against, who is a very tough Division III team. Um, we play a lot of good competition. I know going into the NE8, which is extremely hard competition. Uh, it definitely, I think, will help. Uh, but I think mainly the importance of just playing local teams for us. The girls know each other. I think the competition amongst other county schools, it's important to the girls.
Coach, I think a lot of the props and nods to your team this year go to what other coaches, especially in the NE8, are saying about you guys being the wild card and kind of the dangerous team going into this year. I think the biggest question going into it is the growth of those younger players and what happened over the summer. So, in the growth points that you've seen, is there anything that you saw that you really want to point out that really surprised you as a coach, or maybe not surprised you as much as you just want to acknowledge them on what the point they grew on?
I think the biggest thing is the new younger girls just being willing to put in the time and just to see what we do. the hard work that goes into a full basketball season and understanding our concepts. And I think that's probably the most important thing. We have 5 freshmen this year, which we usually have a little more than that, but the 5 freshmen we have coming in are very strong, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. Couple really good shooters in Trinity Veliquette, and also Tatum Bardot is also another freshman to look out for. As far as other people that will help, Mia Contenza is also going to be a big help for us. She's a sophomore, really athletic. I really liked her growth and improvement over the summer. I kind of challenged her with ball handling and improving her shot, and she has really done a great job on that. So I'm really looking to see how the younger group mixes in with our older group.
I love that you're keeping your non-conference schedule local because almost every league game on the road is going to be quite a trek for you guys, as you obviously know. Because we always talk about how other teams handle the trip to Jefferson on their schedule. No one really talks about the fact that you guys have to make that kind of trip almost the whole season for the league. How do you guys handle those long road trips, and what are some of the game plans that you guys have as a coaching staff to get them ready to play an hour away or 45 minutes away or however long it is from Jefferson to some of these teams?
Honestly, we just treat it like any other game. I think now we're kind of used to it, just getting on the bus. And I mean, a lot of them are straight down Route 11, and it's really not too bad um, in that aspect of it. Um, the biggest thing, too, is I think just that mental preparation on the bus, thinking about and visualizing, you know, anything that could happen during a game. And by seeing it and then, having your expectations, I think that's the biggest thing.
I do think you guys have that unusual advantage of getting that experience because, as most people will say too, come tournament time, you're going to probably be traveling anyway. So might as well get it done during the season. Coach, I want to talk a little bit about kind of what this offense and defense is going to look like now that you got to figure the playbook's going to open up as the girls are getting more experience if they got reps in over the summer. Does this playbook open up a little bit, or what's the offense and defense scheme's going to look like for Jefferson?
We're mainly a man defense. I expect our girls to get up and play hard and deny the basketball and put a lot of pressure on the opposing team's point guard and just, ball entries. And I've always stressed that. Also, offensively, um, I think we have to play more as a team. We are losing 2 good players in Kennedy Mullen and Ava Contenza. Ava was my point guard for 2 years, and Kennedy was my shooting guard. And I think losing them, you know, I think it's important that we work the ball around, be able to handle the pressure that other teams are going to put on us, and I think that's important.
Coach, we talk about this all the time with the coaches we bring on. What are some things that you want to teach your girls outside of the realm of basketball that you hope that when they graduate from Jefferson and they finish their round with you in your program that they take away from being a Jefferson girls basketball player and they take away from being coached by you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's really important. I'm a head coach for 3 sports, and I tell all my kids probably one of the most important things to me, whether and more important than a win, is when they come back to me in 10, 15 years, that they tell me how they're a good person. And for the girls, I tell them that you're a good mother, a good wife, and you have a great job. And to me, that's the most important thing. If they come back and are able to tell me those things, then I feel like I did my job because, the biggest thing is to instill those hard work principles in them. And I think if they have those skills, they'll be able to go out and do anything in the world that they put their mind to.
Head coach of 3 sports. Can we just stop and talk about that and what kind of time?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and I think my wife gets a little mad about that. I'm not gonna lie.
God love you. It's got to be, but it's got to come from a passion of coaching.
It does, and I've coached a little bit of everything. I mean, I coached football here for 9 years, and then switched over, and now I've been with cross country since about 2008, and I've been the head boys coach probably since 2012. And I have been the head boys track coach now going on 18 years. So been doing it a long time. I was in the boys program for basketball. This is my third year as the girls coach, but I was in the boys program for 19 years. So I've definitely been doing it a while now.
So in that too, and I mean, and this goes beyond X's and O's for any sport now. This is you as a coach. Is there anything about you that your coaching philosophy that's changed, or is there something that maybe that you learned about yourself through these coaching experiences over the course of 3 sports over so many years?
I think, some of the biggest things is you just have to adapt to the group that you have at the current time. Every group's different, and I think it took me a little bit to figure that out, and everything works a little different. I know some of my track kids say I've gone a little soft. I'm not as intense as I used to be. But when I first started coaching track, I was still coaching football, and I think I had that mentality and intensity that the harder you push these guys and the harder they work, the better it's going to be. And in track, that's not always the case. So I think in that aspect, I wouldn't say I've gone a little soft. I would just say that I pick and choose my points when I get a little fired up.
Do you think your girls' team thinks you went soft, or do you think you kind of?
I think they think I'm pretty intense. I'm not going to lie. If you've ever seen a game with me coaching, I'm still pretty vocal and loud. And I remember when my wife came to one of the first games that I was coaching, I pretty much quieted the whole gym because how loud I was. She was like, "Oh, wow." So.
Coach, I mean, we're obviously so excited for this team this year, but as we've done the kind of meet the team segment, I want to give you the opportunity to kind of spotlight your staff and some of those other big names in the Jefferson program that you want to highlight, especially for girls basketball.
Yeah, definitely. For my 7th and 8th grade, I do have a newcomer that played for Jefferson, and that's Angelica Sack. She's going to move over and do my 7th grade. 2 years ago, she came up and was a varsity assistant with me and did a lot helping out. And I'm kind of glad to have her on staff. It's good to have, another female on the staff. And she can explain. I mean, we have a strong tradition of girls' sports here at Jefferson. They have won a lot of games throughout the years. And I think it's important that the girls understand that tradition that, a lot of these other girls fought for. Also on my staff, I have in 8th grade, I have my brother, Rick Furman, and doing my JV, I have Dave Wright, who has been a big help to me. We go way back. He was my assistant for boys track for at least 13 years. So he's been a great help and a big advice. And, I always have my coaches. I still have a lot of people around that I talk to that's also a big help. I coached many years under Steve Losey, who was the former head coach. Pick his brain. I pick Mr. Huber's brain, who was head coach at PV and Jefferson for a lot of years. And also my last years as JV coaching the boys, Steve French. So I'm very fortunate to have a good surrounding.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and giving us a little preview of Jefferson girls basketball. We are definitely excited to cover you guys all season, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you having me on.